Secondly, let God lead your life and not solely be a self-made person. Ask the Lord to direct your path and your way on big decisions, on small decisions, on career, on retirement, and how you should handle different situations with friends, family. Third, forgive others quickly because God has forgiven you. Do not harbor anger and resentment. 4, rejoice and be happy in the success of others. 5, build and help others as much as possible. If we are to truly be a Christian, we are to serve. We are to help others. We are to have random acts of kindness. And when we do that, it will come back to you. There was a lion that was awakened from sleep by a mouse running over his face. Rising up angrily, he caught the mouse and was about to kill the mouse when the mouse said, "If you spare my life, I will repay your kindness someday." The lion laughed and let it go. It happened shortly after this that the lion was caught by some hunters, who bound him with strong ropes. The mouse, recognizing the lion's roar, came, gnawed through the rope, and set him free. The mouse then exclaimed, "You did not think I would ever be able to help you. You now see that it is possible for even a lion to need the help of a mouse." It's an interesting story, but it's a story that lets us know that even the little things that sometimes we do will come back to us. Some call it karma, some call it just getting back what you've given, whatever you want to call it. If we are to be Christians, we are to be a people who care for each other, that love each other. And in doing so, I believe that that act of kindness will come back to you and bless you. Poor in spirit can also describe a person who is hurting inside, hurting from depression, from broken relationships, hurting from anger. A loss of sorts in a person's life can make them poor in spirit. There are many different ways a person can become poor in spirit. However, in this case, Jesus is talking about the opposite of pride and asking us to be humble in spirit. President Abraham Lincoln, once caught up in a situation where he wanted to please another politician, he issued a command to transfer certain regiments from one location to another. When the Secretary of War, Edward Stanton, received the order, he refused to carry it out. He said that the president was a fool. Abraham Lincoln, the president, was told what Stanton said. And he replied, "If General Stanton said I'm a fool, then I must be a fool. For he is nearly always right. I'll see for myself." As the two men talked, the president quickly realized that his decision was a serious mistake. And without hesitating, he withdrew it. As many of you know, there are times in our lives when we have to look and maybe we've been stubborn on a particular issue. Maybe it's best to take a step back and say, maybe my decision wasn't so wise. And so oftentimes, just as Abraham Lincoln, the president, said, I need to reverse my decision. If pride and ego are not tamed in our lives by humility, it can destroy you. Jesus was the perfect example of humility. Philippians 2:8 says, having come to earth as a man, Jesus humbled himself, became obedient even to the point of dying on a cross. Numbers 12:3 tells us that Moses was a man of humility. And then Proverbs 16:18 says, pride cometh before the fall. So we know that Jesus was humble. The choir sings on every Sunday morning, and it's beautiful. Generally, the melody is carried by the sopranos, but it is surrounded by beautiful harmony. Harmony of the basses, the tenors, and the altos. And it makes this beautiful sound. And so even though the sopranos carry the melody of the solo, it enhances it so much with harmony. Sometimes being humble means being the person that's not always singing the solo. It means being the person who is the helper. Being the person who's second in command rather than first in command. Perhaps you're in a career position where you're not the lead boss. Can you bless your boss or those around you by being that beautiful harmonizer who supports and lifts up the job? I believe that's what Jesus is teaching us. Blessed is the humble, the poor in spirit. And not always having to have the limelight. I know a pastor who would rather use his gifts as an associate pastor rather than a senior pastor. He is a better harmonizer than a soloist. Jesus himself used his life as a harmony to surround the love of God for all humanity. And so on this first beatitude, blessed are you if you are humble, because Jesus lived a humble life, so we also can live a humble life. Let us pray. Lord, help us to be humble and not prideful. May we lift others up before ourselves. May we think of others before ourselves. May we live to serve others rather than the other way around. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Our closing hymn of response today is Trust and Obey, page 467 in our hymn book. Let us stand together and sing that hymn of the faith. Trust and Obey, 467. I want to thank you for coming today. Please be that person of humility that Jesus was in our lives as we call ourselves Christians. Once we're dismissed, I would like to invite you to the parlor. There's refreshments in there. Let us bow our heads and hearts for our choral call to worship. As follows. It was pride that changed the angels into demons. It is humility that makes humans into angels. May the Lord bless and keep you. May we all be people of humility. And all God's people say,
Amen.
God bless you. Have a great day.